That's not your medicine grandson. Slapped pills from veteran's hand. They were rat poison. 7-year-old Tommy visited grandfather's Texas ranch. Watched housekeeper Maria switch veteran biker's warfarin heart pills with identical-looking brodifacoum rat poison pellets. When grandfather reached for evening medication, Tommy sprinted across room and slapped bottle from his hand. White tablets scattering revealed switched pills hidden in plain sight. Fake medicine designed to kill slowly while appearing like pharmaceutical error. Sometimes grandchildren notice what paid caregivers hide. Sometimes one slap prevents murder disguised as medical care. The Iron Horse Ranch sat on 200 acres outside Austin, Texas, property worth $4 million, home to Marcus Kane Sullivan, 72, Reaper's Motorcycle Club founder, Vietnam veteran, widower living alone except for live-in housekeeper hired 6 months ago after mild heart attack. 7-year-old Tommy Sullivan had come for summer visit grandson from Kane's estranged son who died in car crash 3 years ago, raised by maternal grandmother in San Antonio, visiting grandfather twice yearly in awkward attempts to maintain family connection neither quite knew how to build. Tommy had learned observation rules from being quiet child in adult world. Watch carefully, notice patterns, stay out of way because small boys asking too many questions annoyed grown-ups. Today, Tommy noticed something wrong with housekeeper Maria, 40-ish woman hired 6 months ago with glowing references, seemed devoted to grandfather's care. But Tommy saw things. How Maria's eyes lingered on property boundaries during walks. How she asked careful questions about wills and inheritance. How she smiled different when discussing money versus medical care. 5 p.m. Tommy was supposed to be watching cartoons in living room. Instead, he'd gone to kitchen for snack, approached quietly in sock feet, sneaky quiet like Grandma called him saw through bedroom doorway. Maria at grandfather's nightstand where medication bottles sat in organized row. She pulled pill bottle labeled warfarin 5 millimers, take 1 daily, from nightstand, twisted cap open, dumped contents into tissue, folded tissue carefully into apron pocket. Then pulled identical bottle from other apron pocket, same size, same label, same white tablets, poured those pills into grandfather's bottle, screwed cap tight, placed bottle back in exact position, not refilling, not organizing, switching. Tommy's 7-year-old mind didn't understand medicine details, but survival instinct screamed wrong, dangerous, tell someone, except who would believe him? Grandfather trusted Maria completely, called her lifesaver. Would 72-year-old veteran believe 7-year-old grandson over devoted housekeeper? Tommy retreated to living room before Maria noticed, mind racing. Grandfather's medicine wasn't his medicine anymore, and Maria had switched it on purpose. Evening, 7 p.m. Kane's daily routine, dinner at 6:30, medication at 7 all, evening news at 7:30. Tommy watched from doorway, heart pounding, palms sweating, as Maria brought grandfather his evening pills with solicitous smile. "Your warfarin, Mr. Sullivan. Important for your heart to take at same time every day." Kane reached for pill cup, lifted white tablet toward mouth. "No, don't!" Tommy screamed, sprinting across room. Everyone froze grandfather with pill inches from lips, Maria with expression flickering surprise, Tommy running full speed. "Tommy, what on earth?" Kane began. Tommy didn't explain with words. Slapped pill cup from grandfather's hand hard, desperate slap that sent cup flying, white tablet skittering across hardwood floor, water glass dropped by startled Kane shattering. "Don't eat it! Don't! She switched them!" Tommy gasped, words tumbling over each other. The pills! Your medicine! She took out the real ones and put in different ones. I saw her. Today, through your door, she dumped your pills in tissue and put in new pills from her pocket. Same bottle, but different pills inside. Kane stared at 7-year-old who just slapped medication from his hand with force that left his palm stinging, then at Maria, whose face had gone carefully neutral. "Tommy, sweetheart, you must have misunderstood," Maria said, voice dripping patronizing kindness. "I was organizing Mr. Sullivan's medications this afternoon, making sure bottles were in correct order. Sometimes children see grown-up tasks and get confused." "I'm not confused," Tommy interrupted, voice shaking, but determined. "I saw you take out pills, put them in your pocket tissue, then pour different pills from your apron into the bottle. You switched them." Kane looked at pill on floor where it had rolled, then at warfarin bottle on nightstand, then at Maria, with Vietnam veteran instincts suddenly alert. "Maria, show me your apron pockets." "Mr. Sullivan, this is ridiculous. Show me, now." Maria's expression shifted, cornered predator calculating. Slowly, she pulled tissue from apron pocket, unfolded it. Inside, approximately 15 small white tablets. Kane picked one up, examined under lamp. Compared to tablet Tommy had slapped away, both white, both round, both small, but under magnification. "These don't have manufacturer markings," Kane said slowly, cold realization dawning. "Warfarin has stamped codes. These don't." He looked at Maria. "What are these pills?" Maria's mouth opened, closed. No smooth explanation emerged. "And why do you have my warfarin in your pocket?" Kane continued, voice deadly quiet. "Tommy said you switched pills. Put my real medication in your pocket. Put different pills in my bottle. That's what he described. That's what I'm seeing right now." He pulled phone. "I'm calling poison control and police. If you've been giving me something that isn't warfarin rat poison," Tommy blurted, "like the pellets at Grandma's garage when we had rats. Exterminator showed me. They were little white pills just like that. He said they looked like medicine, so rats eat them." Kane's blood ran cold. He'd been taking warfarin from that bottle for 2 weeks since Maria had helpfully refilled prescription, said she'd picked it up from pharmacy to save him trip. Except it wasn't warfarin. It was rodenticide designed to cause internal bleeding. Maria saw calculation failing, made desperate move, bolted for door. But Kane, despite being 72 with heart condition, hadn't survived Vietnam and 40 years running MC by being slow. He moved fast, intercepted Maria at door, grabbed her arm, used her momentum to pin her against wall. "You're not going anywhere. Tommy, get my phone. Hit 911. Tommy grabbed phone with shaking hands, dialed with fingers that fumbled keys twice before getting it right. Watched as grandfather, suddenly looking every inch the dangerous biker he'd been before gray hair and heart attacks, held Maria immobilized, while 7-year-old reported attempted murder to police dispatcher. But Maria wasn't working alone. Investigation revealed sophisticated long-term scheme. She'd forged relationship with Kane's sister-in-law, Barbara, deceased son's aunt, who held medical power of attorney, convinced Barbara that Kane was developing dementia using symptoms from slow brodifacoum poisoning confusion, weakness, minor bleeding that mimicked warfarin mismanagement. Once Barbara declared Kane incompetent, Maria positioned herself as guardian, would inherit property through forged will after Kane died from tragic medication complications. Text messages between Maria and Barbara discussed splitting $4 million property sale, $60-40 like we agreed. Tommy's observation had disrupted months of planning murder designed to look like elderly veterans' natural decline from heart disease and pharmaceutical error. Austin police arrived within 20 minutes, Detective Sarah Chen taking lead, paramedics examining Kane for anticoagulant toxicity. "Mr. Sullivan, describe your symptoms over past 2 weeks," paramedic requested. Kane recounted, "Unusual bruising on arms and legs, bleeding gums when I brushed teeth. Fatigue I thought was age and heart condition. Some confusion forgetting conversations, misplacing items. I attributed it to being 72. Those are classic brodifacoum poisoning symptoms," paramedic said grimly. "Anticoagulant rodenticide causes cumulative bleeding over weeks. How long have you been taking medication from this bottle?" 2 weeks. Maria said she'd refilled my warfarin prescription at pharmacy. I didn't verify, trusted her." Detective Chen had tablets analyzed by on-site forensic kit. Results confirmed. Brodifacoum second-generation anticoagulant, 100 times more potent than warfarin. Designed to kill rats through massive hemorrhaging over 4-7 days. In humans, cumulative daily exposure causes spontaneous bleeding, organ failure, death within 2 to 3 weeks appearing like cardiovascular complications. 2 weeks daily exposure? Chen said quietly. "You're extremely fortunate to be alive. Most victims don't survive past 10 days. Kane looked at Tommy's 7-year-old wrapped in blanket on couch, processing having saved grandfather's life by slapping pills away. "I'm alive because my grandson has better eyes than I do." Chen knelt to Tommy's level with gentle voice. "Tommy, can you tell me exactly what you saw Maria doing?" Tommy took shaky breath. "I went to kitchen to get snack. It was 5 o'clock, I know, because cartoons had just ended. I walked really quiet in my socks. Grandma says I'm sneaky quiet." He continued, "I saw through Grandpa's bedroom door, not all the way open, just a crack. Miss Maria was at the table where medicine bottles are. She picked up the bottle that has Grandpa's name and says warfarin. She opened it, dumped pills into white tissue, folded tissue, put it in her apron pocket. Then she pulled out different bottles from her other pocket, same size, and poured those pills into Grandpa's bottle. She screwed the cap on and put it back exactly where it was." "Why did you think that was wrong?" "Because—" Tommy struggled to articulate 7-year-old logic. "Because if medicine is just medicine, why would you need to switch it?" And she looked around after like she didn't want anyone to see. When grown-ups do secret things, it usually means bad things. That's what Grandma taught me." "Your grandmother taught you well," Chen said. "You saved your grandfather's life. That took real courage." Police search of Maria's room at ranch uncovered evidence of months-long plot. Forged will leaving Iron Horse Ranch to Maria in gratitude for devoted care during final illness, notarized with fake witness signatures dated 2 weeks prior. Text message thread with Barbara, Kane's sister-in-law, holder of medical power of attorney. "Once Kane's gone, property sells for $4, split $60-40 like we discussed. Your POA makes you legitimate. My caregiver role makes me sympathetic. Nobody investigates natural death of 72-year-old with heart condition. Research documents about brodifacoum mimics warfarin overdose. Symptoms appear like dementia, plus medication mismanagement. Death looks natural. No autopsy for elderly cardiac patients unless suspicious circumstances. Application to become Kane's legal guardian due to advancing dementia. co-signed by Barbara as POA, ready to file once Kane's confusion worsened from continued poisoning. Detective Chen showed Kane the evidence. She was killing you slowly while building legal framework to inherit everything. If not for Tommy catching that bottle switch, you'd be dead within a week. Probably hemorrhagic stroke attributed to warfarin complications. No investigation, just tragic loss of elderly veteran. But Barbara's lawyer argued sophisticated defense. Ms. Barbara genuinely believed Kane had dementia based on symptoms. Maria reported confusion, memory loss, poor judgment. She had no knowledge of poisoning, acted in good faith under medical POA to protect vulnerable elderly relative from potential exploitation by motorcycle gang. Text messages about property sale were estate planning discussions, not murder conspiracy. Without proof, Barbara knew about rat poison. Prosecution has weak case. Tommy became key witness to not just bottle switch, but to establishing timeline proving Barbara was co-conspirator, not innocent dupe. 7-year-old's testimony would determine whether one woman or two went to prison for attempting to murder grandfather for real estate. Kane spent 3 days in hospital while doctors administered vitamin K to reverse brodifacoum, monitored for internal bleeding, confirmed he'd survive. Tommy refused to leave. Grandmother brought him daily. 7-year-old keeping vigil like sentry, afraid to abandon post. 3rd morning, Kane woke to find Tommy asleep in chair, small hand still gripping grandfather's sleeve. "Hey, buddy," Kane said softly, "I'm okay. You can go home. Get real sleep." Tommy jerked awake, immediately checking monitors, IV lines, grandfather's face for signs of distress. "Are you sure? What if something happens and I'm not here?" "Nurses are here, machines watching. I'm safe." "That's what you thought at home," Tommy said, voice breaking. "You thought Miss Maria was keeping you safe, but she was killing you. How do we know the nurses aren't bad too? How do we know anyone?" Kane felt his heart break, not from poison, but from watching 7-year-old learn hardest lesson. Sometimes people caring for you are people trying to hurt you. "We don't know for certain," Kane admitted, "but we can be careful, watch, verify, like you did. You saw something wrong and you acted. That saved me." "But what if I hadn't seen?" Tommy whispered. "What if I'd been watching cartoons like I was supposed to?" "But you weren't," Kane said firmly. "You were sneaky quiet. You were observant. You were brave enough to slap pills from my hand even though it meant making scene. You did everything right. I'm alive because of you." Tommy climbed into hospital bed, careful of IV lines, and curled against grandfather's side. "I don't want you to die. You're all the family I have left besides Grandma." Kane wrapped arm around small shoulders. "I'm not dying. Not for a long, long time. We have too much time to make up for." Week after hospital discharge, Kane needed to take actual warfarin verified by pharmacy, checked by 3 different doctors, opened by Tommy himself from sealed bottle. Still, Tommy watched Kane take pill with intensity that broke Kane's heart. "You're staring," Kane observed gently. "I have to make sure," Tommy said, voice tight. "What if there's more fake medicine somewhere? What if Miss Maria had helpers who switched other bottles? What if, Tommy, we verified this together, pharmacy seal. You watched pharmacists count pills into bottle?" "But what if someone switched them after?" Tommy protested, 7-year-old logic following terrible new understanding that medicine could be weapon. What if? Kane recognized trauma response. Medicine was supposed to heal. Maria had turned it into poison. How did child trust pills again after that? How about this? Kane proposed. Every time I take medication, you verify bottle seal first. You watch me take pill, you confirm I'm okay after, until you feel safe again. Deal? Every single time? Tommy asked hopefully. Every time, Kane promised. Your job is keeping me safe. Mine is helping you feel safe doing it. That evening, Tommy examined bottle seal with focus of bomb tech diffusing explosive, watched grandfather swallow pill, waited 30 minutes to confirm no adverse reaction. 7-year-old guardian, learning that trust, once weaponized, must be rebuilt one verified pill at a time. 2 weeks later, potential new housekeeper interviewed at ranch woman in 50s, excellent references, friendly demeanor. 10 minutes into interview, Tommy pulled Kane aside. Don't hire her, Grandpa. Why not? She seems qualified. She keeps looking at your medicine bottles, Tommy said quietly. Not like I'll organize those, like counting them, memorizing labels. And when you said how much the ranch is worth, her eyes got really focused, same way Miss Maria's did. Kane studied woman with new attention, saw exactly what Tommy described, calculating gaze toward medication area, sharp interest, discussing property value. Background check revealed woman had worked for 3 elderly clients past 5 years. All 3 died from medication complications. No charges filed, but pattern was there. How did you know? Kane asked later. I watch people now, Tommy said. Really, really carefully. Miss Maria taught me some people smile while planning bad things. I learned to see difference between real nice and fake nice. Kane looked at 7-year-old who developed threat assessment skills most adults lacked. That's your superpower, seeing what others miss. Is it superpower if I hate having it? Tommy asked quietly. Yes, Kane answered honestly. Best superpowers are ones we wish we didn't need, but are grateful we have. When Kane was discharged, reapers threw party at clubhouse, but not standard celebration. Vice President Ghost presented Tommy with something unexpected. Old military binoculars from Vietnam era. These were your grandfather's in Nam, Ghost explained, kneeling to Tommy's level. He was point man scout who walked ahead of unit, watched for danger others couldn't see yet, saved his squad 17 times by spotting threats before they became fatal. He handed binoculars to Tommy. You're point man now. Spotted threat nobody else saw, saved Kane's life. In MC culture, we don't give these to just anyone. You earned them. Tommy held binoculars reverently. I'm really like Grandpa? You're exactly like your grandfather, Kane said, voice thick with emotion he'd never shown his son. Sees danger, acts fast, protects family. That's Sullivan blood. That's what makes you reapers, even without patch. Different from Maya's vest ceremony, from Lily's self-defense training. This was uniquely Tommy's recognition of observation skills that had saved life, inheritance of grandfather's military legacy, understanding that being small and quiet wasn't weakness, but reconnaissance advantage. But Barbara's legal team filed motion arguing Kane was manipulating traumatized child to secure favorable testimony against Barbara, who acted in good faith under medical POA. Psychiatric evaluation ordered for Tommy determining whether 7-year-old's memory of bottle switch was genuine observation or coached testimony from MC family exploiting vulnerable child to eliminate rival inheritance claim. If evaluator believed Tommy was manipulated rather than genuine witness, entire case collapsed. Maria's conviction stood, caught with poison, but Barbara, who'd actually orchestrated scheme, would walk free. Tommy faced evaluation where he'd have to convince psychologists his memory was real, not implanted, while defending grandfather from accusations of coaching child witness for legal benefit. Texas District Court Maria and Barbara facing attempted capital murder, conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, elder abuse charges. Tommy, now 8, sat in witness waiting room wearing suit reapers had bought, holding Vietnam binoculars Ghost had given him like talisman. Prosecutor briefed him. Defense will argue you misunderstood what you saw, that you're too young to remember accurately, that reapers coached your testimony. Stay calm. Tell truth exactly as it happened. Forensic evidence confirms brodifacoum in bottle, but your testimony explains how it got there and proves Barbara knew about poisoning. Tommy nodded, fingers tight on binoculars. I know what I saw. Nobody told me what to say. He was called to stand, walked to witness box with binoculars visible in his jacket pocket, small source of courage. Prosecutor began gently. Tommy, please tell the jury what you witnessed on June 15th at your grandfather's ranch. Tommy took breath, spoke in 7-year-old cadence. I was watching TV after lunch. Cartoons ended at 5 o'clock, so I went to kitchen for snack. I walk really quiet. Grandma calls it sneaky quiet, and I saw through Grandpa's bedroom door. It wasn't open all the way, just a little bit open. He continued, Miss Maria was at Grandpa's table where he keeps medicine bottles. She picked up the one that says his name and warfarin, that's for his heart. She opened it and dumped all the pills into white tissue. She folded the tissue and put it in her apron pocket. Then she pulled out a different bottle from her other pocket, same size, same color, and poured those pills into Grandpa's bottle. She put it back exactly where it was before. His voice grew stronger. At dinner time, she gave Grandpa a pill from that bottle. But it wasn't his real medicine anymore. It was the pills she put in. That's why I knocked it away when I saw him about to eat it. Because switched medicine is poison medicine. Defense attorney challenged hard. Tommy, you're 8 years old now, 7 when this happened. Memories change. Could you be remembering wrong? Maybe imagining details? I'm not imagining, Tommy interrupted, child's emotion breaking through. I know what I saw. She took out the good pills, threw them away, put in bad pills. I watched her do it. But from across the room, through a partially closed door, how could you possibly see small pills being switched? I wasn't across the room, Tommy corrected. I was at kitchen door. That's close to Grandpa's bedroom. I could see clear. And I know what switching looks like, taking something out, putting something different in. That's what she did. Your grandfather is leaving you his ranch and his will now, correct? Big property, lots of money. Isn't it convenient that your testimony eliminates his sister-in-law, Barbara, who also had inheritance claim? I don't care about money, Tommy shouted, tears starting. I care about Grandpa. I don't want him to die. That's why I told. Not for ranch, for Grandpa. Courtroom silent. Jury visibly moved by 8-year-old's raw emotion, nothing coached about that outburst. Trial lasted 2 weeks. Evidence overwhelming. Tommy's eyewitness testimony of bottle switch brodifacoum confirmed in warfarin bottle through forensic analysis. Text messages between Maria and Barbara. 60-40 split once he's dead. Timeline proving Barbara knew about poisoning. Discussed symptoms worsening on schedule. Forged will, fake guardian application, property appraisals. Verdict, guilty. Both defendants. Maria Rodriguez, 35 years state prison for attempted capital murder, conspiracy, fraud. Barbara Sullivan, 25 years for conspiracy to commit murder, abuse of POA, elder exploitation. Outside courthouse, reporter asked, "Tommy, you're 8 years old and stopped a murder plot. How does that feel?" Tommy considered with 8-year-old seriousness. "Like doing what family does. Grandpa protected people his whole life in Vietnam, in Reapers. I protected him. That's what families do, watch out for each other." Another reporter, "Were you scared to testify?" "Yes," Tommy admitted, "but Grandpa gave me his binoculars from when he was scout in war. He said, 'I'm scout too now, person who sees danger first.' Scouts are supposed to be brave even when scared." But psychiatric evaluation for competency hearing revealed unexpected finding. Kane's isolation from family after son's death had created exact vulnerability. Maria, exploited lonely elderly widower with strained family ties, made perfect target. Psychiatrist testified, "Mr. Sullivan is fully competent now, but 6 months ago, grief, isolation, and post-heart attack vulnerability left him susceptible to manipulation Maria identified expertly." Judge didn't dismiss case but ordered, "Mr. Sullivan will maintain family connections, report quarterly on Tommy's involvement in his life, ensure isolation doesn't recur." Court recognizes that Tommy's presence isn't just what saved Kane's life, it's what will protect him going forward. Iron Horse Ranch transformed from lonely widower's fortress to family home. Tommy spent every weekend, most summers, many school breaks with Kane. Grandfather's bedroom, where medication switch happened, was remodeled. Nightstand with pill bottles replaced with photos. Tommy and Kane on horses. Tommy's father as child. 3 generations of Sullivans finally in same frame. Kitchen, where Tommy witnessed bottle switch, became where Kane taught grandson to cook Reaper's president, known for excellent barbecue, passing skills to 8-year-old who measured spices with scientific precision, still needing to control small details after trauma taught him that small oversights could be fatal. "Why did you and Daddy fight so much?" Tommy asked one Saturday, helping prep brisket for Sunday Reaper's gathering. Kane paused, measuring honesty appropriate for 8-year-old. "Because I loved being MC president more than I loved being his father. I thought respect, being tough, being feared, that was what mattered. Your dad wanted me home, wanted normal father who came to school plays and taught him to ride bikes. I chose club meetings over him. By the time I realized I'd chosen wrong, he'd stopped calling. But you come to my school stuff now," Tommy observed. "You taught me to ride horse. You do grandfather things. Daddy didn't get that?" "No," Kane admitted, old guilt still raw. "He didn't. I was too proud, too stupid, too committed to image of tough biker who didn't do soft family things. Biggest regret of my life." He looked at Tommy. "But you gave me second chance. Chance to be grandfather. I should have been father, and I'm not wasting it." "Because I saved your life?" Tommy asked. "Because you loved me enough to care if I died," Kane corrected. "You barely knew me, saw me twice a year, awkward visits where we didn't know what to say to each other. But you still noticed housekeeper acting strange, still watched careful enough to see bottle switch, still cared enough to slap pills from my hand. That taught me you're not obligation from dead son I feel guilty about. Your grandson I actually want to know. And I almost died never knowing you, because I was too isolated and stubborn to build family." Tommy hugged him, barbecue sauce on both their hands. "I'm glad Miss Maria didn't kill you. I'm glad we have time now." "Me too, buddy. Me too." Therapy session, Tommy, Kane, and trauma counselor discussing recovery. Medicine is supposed to heal, Tommy said, articulating thought he'd been processing for months. That's what doctors say. Take your medicine. It makes you better. But Miss Maria turned medicine into poison, made something that helps into something that kills. How do you trust medicine again after that? Counselor looked at Kane, who answered, Same way you trust people again after someone betrays you. Carefully. One pill at a time, one person at a time, testing, verifying, not assuming trust is automatically safe. He continued, Your wariness about medicine isn't damage, Tommy. It's wisdom, bought with my near death. You learned that appearances can lie, that pills looking like medicine might be poison, that people looking like caregivers might be predators. That's hard lesson for 7-year-old, but it's true lesson. And truth, even painful truth, is better than dangerous ignorance. So I'm not broken for being suspicious? Tommy asked. You're not broken, Kane confirmed. You're experienced. You learned to verify before trusting. That's not paranoia. That's survival skill that saved my life. One evening on porch, Tommy asked, Why did you live alone for so long? This ranch is so big. Weren't you lonely? Kane considered. I thought being alone meant being strong. After your dad died, I figured I'd failed at family. Should just focus on MC and property. 200 acres felt like fortress safe because isolated. But isolation made you not safe, Tommy observed with child's logic. Miss Maria came because you were alone. She knew nobody was watching. Exactly, Kane agreed. Ranch was fortress keeping people out. But fortresses don't protect you. They just make it easier for enemies inside the walls to work without witnesses. You turn this place from fortress into home by being here, by watching, by caring enough to notice when something was wrong. So big empty ranch bad, Tommy summarized. Ranch with family good. Exactly that simple, Kane confirmed. Property value doesn't matter. What matters is who's there with you. 9 months after trial, court held final review, ensuring Tommy remained safe. Kane maintained family connections. Exploitation risk mitigated. Judge reviewed reports. Kane Sullivan attends Tommy's school events regularly, hosts weekly family visits, participates in therapy addressing isolation. Tommy thrives academically, emotionally, socially. Reaper's MC provides appropriate community support without exploitation. No concerns. She signed order. Competency confirmed permanently. Will leaving property to Tommy upheld. Court finds family connection is protective factor preventing future exploitation. She looked at them. What saved you, mister? Sullivan wasn't just Tommy seeing the switch. It was him caring enough to act. Don't lose that connection. Never, Kane promised. 10 years later, 18-year-old Tommy stood at Iron Horse Ranch, now jointly owned with Kane, added to deed on his 18th birthday. Kane, 82, semi-retired from Reapers, spent days teaching Tommy Ranch management, MC history, legacy his father never learned. Why didn't you join Reapers? Kane asked one evening on porch, watching sunset. Don't need Patch to be family, Tommy said. I'm veterinarian student. Want to work with horses, run ranch someday. Different path from Daddy, from you, but still family. Kane hugged him affection that had become natural over decade. Your father would be proud. They watched sunset over property Tommy had saved at 7 by noticing switched pills, over ranch that would be his someday. Sometimes grandchildren notice what caregivers hide. Sometimes one slap prevents murder disguised as medicine. Sometimes Attempted poisoning becomes catalyst for healing grandfather and grandson, finding family across grief and distance. Medicine weaponized revealed truth. Smallest observers see what adults miss. Isolation kills, but connection saves. And family isn't blood, but choice. Choice to notice. Choice to act. Choice to stay.